Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel for video 2 since my little hiatus for a few weeks. Now I had intended to put this in the first video, but as I got talking I realised the time was gonna be a really long video. So what I decided to do, of the 70 odd videos or films I've watched in the last 10 weeks since I last did a what I watched, I thought I'd recommend 10 that you should watch, and I thought I'd say here's 10 you can probably avoid. So I've done the good ones, this is going to be the bad ones. Now, I'm recording on my iPhone. I can't look up some of these movies. Some of these I've watched 10 weeks ago. I'm a bit sketchy about, I've had a quick look. Sometimes it's jogged my memory, sometimes it hasn't. But let me just give you the list and you can look them up and see what you think. So, at number 10 is a movie called The Twin. So this follows a couple with twin boys. One of them has been tragically killed in an accident. They decide to move away to the other side of the world, I think, to try to make a future with the surviving son. But things are not as they seem. When are they ever? And this son seems to start behaving a little bit odd. And this is a story of them trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with their son. And is he perhaps experiencing or in contact with their dead son? So, a few little twisty bits in this. I thought it was really poorly acted. It wasn't believable. When I say it wasn't believable, obviously anything a bit isn't believable, but it didn't pull me in. It didn't make me, like, you know, when you have a movie about a family that's lost their son, I should really be affected by that, having a son of my own, but I wasn't. So I would say that's one I wouldn't rush out to see. At number 9, the 16th episode. Now, no matter how much I read about this, I'm remembering very little. This is a found footage movie, which is why I was attracted to it. I love found footage. It's about a group of YouTubers who go to Casablanca and they're trying to get their stats up on their channel, their views, and the place they go to, they don't realise has a dark secret. Now, that's what I've read. I can't remember what the dark secret was. I don't remember much about watching it. I do know I've rated it really low. I also know that on IMDb the reviews are scathing. They've all said it's clunky, it doesn't link together, things don't tie together properly, and anybody that's given it a high score, when people have looked at their history on IMDb, it's the only movie they've ever reviewed. So we're thinking perhaps people tied to the film, acting in the film, related to or friends with people involved in the movie. It just was not very good. So that's the 16th episode. At number 8, now this is a bit of an odd one because this one's really popular and I may have to watch this again. It was called Incantation. This is a foreign movie. This one I've seen on Letterboxd it get 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was really long. I thought it was really boring. This is about a woman that is trying to protect her child from a curse. On paper, it looks really interesting. I'm a bit loath to put it here because a lot of people did enjoy it. It was one when I sort of looked up about it initially, I thought, oh, that sounds right up my street. I watched it and I was really bored. Could I have been in the wrong mood? Perhaps. I will maybe give it another chance, but if you've seen Incantation, I believe it's Korean, please let me know in the comments if you enjoyed it and if you think I should try that one again. At number 7, Hello, Goodbye and Everything in Between. So sometimes I'm in the mood to watch something very easy that doesn't require a lot of thought, just to help me get to sleep at night. This is a romance story. This is a story about a couple who have agreed to go their separate ways to their colleges. They have agreed, even though they're very happy together as a couple, to end the relationship and to go to college single. And if they find their way back to one another, they do. If they don't, they don't. This is a movie about a final date and about them revisiting loads of stages of their relationship by going to particular places. So it's a romance story. It could be that not both of these individuals maybe want to split up, and maybe one does, maybe one doesn't. It's one of those movies. It was okay. It passed an hour and a half. Would I recommend it? No. At number 6, This Is the Year. Right, I think this is one. It's another high school romance movie. It was okay. Maybe I'm being a bit cruel putting it in this list. I did rate it quite low because it's not my cup of tea. This is about a group of kids at high school who one of the lads really fancies this girl, this really popular pretty girl in the year, He never thinks he's going to have a chance. He decides that this is the year that he's going to put himself out there and he's going to make his feelings towards this girl who has a boyfriend known. He tells a lot of lies. He has tickets to this like festival she's desperate to go to and no one has tickets. He lies that he's got tickets. They're all going to go on a road trip and he's going to tell her how he feels on this trip and she's going to be fine with that, being tricked into this when she's got her own boyfriend, going to a gig that she doesn't actually have tickets, and this guy's going to declare undying love. So it's a bit daft. It may appeal to teenagers. It wasn't really my cup of tea, so this is the year. At number 5, now I have seen differing reviews for this. It's one on Netflix at the moment called Spiderhead. Now, Kevin from Screen Kings did a review for this and I was so in agreement with his entire review. This has got Chris Hemsworth in a really serious scientific type role and it does not suit him at all. I do like to see characters put in different roles. Obviously he's like the tough guy, you know, the superhero, the action roles, but this role was just not right for Chris Hemsworth. He was a scientist who... The premise is really interesting. Basically, there are drugs to make individuals feel a particular strong emotion. So it can be anger, it can be love. They can make two people sit down face to face that are completely repelled by one another and make them fall in love with that other person like that by taking medication. And they're experimenting with this sort of thing throughout the movie. This premise is really interesting. But the execution is not very good. I did not enjoy it. I just could not get my head around Chris Hemsworth in this role. It did not suit him. He was wearing a suit. He was pretending to be extremely intelligent. He may have been wearing glasses, which is one of those things. Oh, it's just intelligent, put glasses on him. Just didn't buy his character and it took me out of the movie a lot. Although there's nothing wrong with the acting of the other people involved and the premise is really interesting, I should have loved this and I didn't. So that is Spiderhead at number 5. Number 4, Endangered Species. Now, I don't think this is as bad as some people's reviews for it. People talk about CGI being the worst they'd ever seen. It's not great, it's not that bad. This is about a family that are on holiday and are going into like a safari type situation. Something's kicked off in the safari park. They want to drive through in their van. They're told they're not allowed to. While there's a commotion going on over at the side, this dad takes it upon himself to drive himself, his wife and his kids into the safari park without any guides knowing where they're going. So they're on their own. And there are some animals in there that these people are not experienced in how to deal with. They don't know to keep distance from certain animals. They don't react in the right way to these animals. And obviously, shit's gonna go down. They're going to get stuck in the middle of this place at the mercy of all these animals and they're going to have to try and survive and get back to safety. This is what the movie's about. It's okay. It's not awful. It's not as awful as people would have you believe. But it is extremely unbelievable. Some of the stuff that happens to one particular character in this, it's just, they would never have survived. It's ridiculous. I would say it's one I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. If it's there and you want something easy and light-hearted to watch, fair enough. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's not great. Okay, number 3, You Are Not My Mother. What the hell was that? Oh yes, I think this one is an Irish Film Board one, and this is very normal, very gritty, even though it's Irish, very British in its style. I think it may be a Channel 4 movie. Could be wrong, but it's that sort of gritty British style about it. And it follows a girl on a housing estate that's mother just suddenly starts acting extremely weird. She goes away for a few days, she comes back, and this young girl feels this is not my mum. It's not done in a way that's like spooky or freaky or scary, it's just odd. It maybe is one that I may benefit from a rewatch of, but it didn't really engage me or pull me in. I thought it was okay. I wouldn't recommend that people rush out and watch it. It had an interesting premise. The acting was fine, but I was expecting to be a little bit spooked or freaked or scared more than I was. It was just like sitting down watching an episode of EastEnders or Coronation Street. If you watch those things, to anyone in the US, they're UK soap operas. I'm not a soap opera fan. I don't enjoy them. It's not my cup of tea. This reminded me of sitting watching a soap opera with a kind of slight little twist to it. Wouldn't recommend. Okay, 2 left. Number 2, Senior Year. This one's a very popular one. It's on Netflix. It's got Rebel Wilson in. It's being, at that time when I watched it, it was being advertised all over the place. I thought, I know I'm going to dislike this. I'm going to watch it anyway. So Rebel Wilson is at high school, and she's a cheerleader. She's very popular. She's very pretty. She has an accident where she's not caught from a really high, like, flip jumpy thing, and she ends up in a coma in hospital. She is in that coma for, I believe, 20 years, I think, and she wakes up as a woman in her mid-30s, and obviously her brain is still 16, and she has a lot of adjusting to do. She needs to go back to school. She wants to try to be popular again, but obviously she doesn't look like she once did. It's light-hearted, it's easy to watch, it's full of tropes, it's full of really predictable stuff, it's full of people like discovering themselves on the inside. It's, you know, she has to like connect with people she was friends with at school who are now grown-ups and have jobs. It's very predictable. It's something I may have enjoyed when I was in my teens, but I wouldn't really recommend you check it out. It was just average if you like that kind of thing, and I don't like that kind of thing. Why was I watching it? Because there was nothing else to watch at the time. So Senior Year. And number 1, and this will be no shock to anyone, I think everyone knows they should avoid this, is Morbius. When I first saw the trailer for Morbius, was so excited because it looked amazing to me. Obviously I have no knowledge of the comic book character. I don't read graphic novels or comics, not for any particular reason, I just never have. I love horror. When you combine a horror element with superhero movies, I thought, well, this is going to be really good. I'm going to really enjoy this. I didn't. It was disjointed. I didn't believe the character. I didn't care about the character. I found my mind wandering constantly, which in this kind of movie you shouldn't. Things were happening so fast you couldn't see what was happening. The CGI was really blurry in places. Things I wanted to be able to see I couldn't. And then they did this weird thing where they would slow things down so you could see it, but that took away from the reality of it happening. It just seemed like a stylistic choice. It was odd. I just really, really wanted to like this, and when everyone was reviewing it and saying it was awful, it was terrible, it didn't take away me wanting to see it. I still wanted to see it, and I did, and I've watched it, and they're right, it's terrible. So of all the movies I watched in the last 10 weeks that I would say if you haven't seen, don't watch Morbius. It's no better than anyone else has said. But yeah, that's probably one of the worst movies I've seen in those weeks, in those 10 weeks. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for your patience with my little hiatus. Hopefully I'll be back up and running again next week with my weekly What I've Watched. And I want to get some movies and TV shows inspired by true stories. I want to get some of those out there because I have come across several when I've been taking a break, and I thought that would be a really good one. So yeah, and also hopefully I'll be doing a live on my own, oh my god, at some stage, because I've passed 2,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. And I wanted to answer your guys' questions that I have saved to talk about. So if you have any questions, pop them in the comments below, or I probably will do another community tab, you know, request for questions if you want to get any in there, and we'll see what we can get sorted. So thanks so much, guys. I really do appreciate you all, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Over and out from Lisa Loves.